Welcome to another how-to series with Floor & Decor. I'm Ashley, here with our resident installation expert, George, and today we're going to show you how to install hardwood. But not just any hardwood. The most DIY-friendly hardwood installation is a locking engineered hardwood, right, George?
Yeah, floating floor. Floating floor,
got it. So what do we do? Let's dive right in.
All right, so first let's talk about the steps of the job, right? So the first thing, you know, it really when starting a job is the preparation, right? So here we have a wood subfloor. Now you might have a concrete subfloor or a wood subfloor, but here for this demonstration we have a wood subfloor. Okay. So you want to ensure when you prep it, you want to make sure it's clean, it's flat, and it's dry. So, you know, what you want to do is you want to hand me that 4-foot level there. So when you prep, this is a tool that very important that you're going to need. You can kind of go all over your whole floor with this level to see any low spots. And if there are any low spots, we do sell some patching compounds and some skim coating compounds that can level out the floor, which makes the install very, very easy. So, and then in preparation, this can actually, on a floating floor, it can be installed over like a linoleum if it's adhered very well to the floor. So once you got the prep done, then we have the next step, which is set. And so in set, we're going to use an underlayment, and we're going to show you that in just a minute. We have our Eco Ultra underlayment, which is it's a moisture barrier, great for sound, comfort, and warmth. So, and with this, once it's installed, you install the wood on top. It's going to give it a real solid feel. You're not going to hear a lot of knocking when you walk on it with heels. Then the next step we're going to show you trim. We're going to have some quarter round, and then we have some matching quarter rounds. We're going to show you the T-molding if you have two floors that are joining together. So we have that. And then the last piece we're going to talk about is cleaning and maintaining. So we'll walk through that. But first, let's go through the tools. You ready? With the tools, right, one of the most important things you're going to need is your tape measure. This will help you square out the room, plan the room, and measure your cuts. Again, we talked about a level. Level is going to be really important. If you're doing demolition, you got your hammer, pry bar as well. You could use this pry bar to take out old molding, old baseboards, or an old floor or tile floor if you want to remove it. To install, we have a pull bar. This is used at the end of the board, closest to the wall. And you can put this against the wall and then tap the boards together to close the seams. And then you got a tapping block. This will help, you know, really drive the tongue into the groove. And then you can, you know, use this mallet with this tapping block. And then also we have a chalk line. If you know, you can plan your floor out. Like I always say, there's many ways to plan out a floor, but if you want to square your room up and use a chalk line, you could stay along that line. And then it's always good to have a utility knife as well. And don't forget, when you're cutting, you got your goggles. Now, from a tool standpoint, also we want to hit on too is the wedges. We're going to place these around the perimeter. So we need a half-inch expansion. From a tool standpoint, you can cut your pieces with a circular saw, and we're going to use that chop saw today to show you how to cut some pieces. So I think we covered quite a bit. Yep. So are we ready for the install?
Let's do it.
Okay.
First step, underlayment?
Yeah, so what we're going to do first is let's go ahead and grab that underlayment. You're going to go ahead and line it up over there. Okay, you can see on this underlayment, right? So here's the lip. This lip goes this way, and then the other piece is going to have a piece of tape that's going to cover right here. It's going to butt up right against there. All right, so now that's in place, right? Now we're going to grab this, and this little red tape, we're going to peel this off. Remember how to do that? So we're going to go over to this side. I'm going to grab that. And we could probably go ahead and start to tear that off. See how easy that is to install? Now that we got our underlayment laid, so when we're installing, you know, and even in the boxes of our wood, right, there's going to be some instructions that give you a pretty basic step-by-step process. But typically, depending on how the room is laid out, we're going to want to start on the long wall. So in this case, we're going to pretend that this is a bigger room, but we're going to start out with the planks going this way. So we're going to start with the 2 pieces here and then work that way.
Okay.
So, you know, again, you want to reiterate, use the tape measure to make sure you square up your room. What I like to do is measure, you know, one end of the room over here on one end, and then I come over here, and then I'll split it in half usually, and then I start to measure the middle to the ends to make sure the room is perfectly square. If it is square, it makes for a lot easier to install. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We've opened a couple boxes up, and we're going to go ahead. What we want to do is kind of pick from a few different piles, so we don't repeat patterns, and also we want to make sure that when we do our cuts, we want a piece on the end larger than 6 inches. We don't want anything smaller. Also, one key important thing is, you know, against a wall, right, you don't want a piece less than 3 or so inches. So if you have a real small sliver on one end of the room, you might need to cut off on this end. So are we ready to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead. And when installing this floating floor, you're going to go tongue against the wall. So you can see the tongue is more of the smaller edge, and then this is the groove where the tongue will slide right in. So, okay. So 43. 42. So we can cut this piece. We're going to cut this piece here. Okay, so what we'll do on this, so remember the tongue will go this way, and this piece was 43 1/4. Let me see one of these. I'm going to, again, you want to use these 1/2-inch little wedges because, you know, these floors can expand, contrast, so it gives it somewhat of a expansion joint. So I'm going to measure from that wedge. It's about 43 3/8. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece. Let me put my goggles on. I'm ready to put this piece in. Okay. Let's go ahead and help me line it up there. We lined up?
Yep.
Okay, remember this goes here. Okay, all right. Should be pretty good. Looks good. All right, so we ready for the next piece?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to grab this one here. Yep, and then we'll put a wedge over at the end. And then the tongue goes in the groove.
There you go.
Okay.
Simple.
Pretty easy, right? And so now this piece will fit. As you can see, what I did was I'm going to put it on the short end of the board. I'm going to put the groove in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and then
Slide it in.
see how easy that is?
Yeah.
Now I want to cut this piece. You want to hand me a wedge? So this one is about 16.
we're fully installed. Time to take out these spacers and talk about finishing pieces.
Yep, so what we're gonna do after we take out the spacers, we're gonna show the quarter round. We're gonna show a primed quarter round.
Okay.
Then we're also, I just wanna show you, this piece too. This is a matching, as you can see here, this quarter round, if you wanna go with the matching against the baseboard, or like we'll show you the primed. Then we're also gonna talk about our T-mold right here. So this is, I cut this to size already. We're pretending that there is another floor. It could be like a tile floor on this side. You could set the T-mold right here. And to install it, you could either, drill some real small pilot holes and, or drive it with a finish nailer, or some people would glue it, but you could see how perfect this piece matches, right? So, all right, we ready to do it?
Yeah.
Actually, let's put that there. So let's go ahead and take those wedges out. And you can see how then the quarter round's gonna cover all the edges. You see? And then, of course, then when this is, you could use a finish nailer to nail all the quarter rounds in, all right? And then, of course, then this finishing piece here gives it a nice finishing touch.
Beautiful. So now we just got to clean it. Yeah,
so the last step, right, we talk about maintenance a lot, and so if you start your project, you don't want to forget the cleaner. You don't want to, use just any cleaner under your sink. Use the approved cleaner, like either a Bona or Rejuvenate. So, which we love, this tool here. And if we squirt this little, you can see it. And you want to make sure that you sweep all the dust off. And there you go.
Awesome. Well, that wasn't too hard.
I think it's one of the easiest do-it-yourselfer installs there is.
Yeah, that was awesome. So check us out at Floor & Decor. Go talk to your knowledgeable associate, get some help picking out the product for your perfect DIY project, and we will see you in the stores.